Bald Rhino back with another incredible PSA reveal. I am harnessing my inner Mangini collection at this particular time. I just saw the funniest video the other day. Now I'm showing my age, I can't remember, but Pepino Man basically put on this outfit to try to embody the great Mangini. And I could barely keep it together during the video, so I would encourage everybody to watch that. That would crack me up. But here's how men in their 50s dress when they're trying to impress. You know, I got to go get a job. But the reality is I'm not going to wear any half shirts. There was a day where my guns were great, but not so much. So cheers to Mangini. But here we're finally going to have some baseball. The GOAT, Nolan Arenado, is going to be back doing his thing. I'm sorry to all those that didn't listen to me as it related to Tatis, but it's a different kind of athlete now. It's why you collect vintage. That's why you vary your collection, because that kid, there is some serious issues going on there. Anyway, enjoy the video. I want to say a quick word on Greg Morris cards, just so that I love them. I think they're great. But if you're buying raw vintage from Greg Morris, please understand you're buying at top dollar. People overstate the value of their perception of the grade. And so I would say I got about 100 cards back that I bought from Greg Morris, and all of them, I shouldn't say all, 80 to 90% of them did not grade as well as Greg Morris thought they would. And so you're paying top dollar for a card that doesn't grade traditionally as high as what you're paying. And so if you're using it as a PC item, or you're not going to be keeping it or grading it, you're just going to keep it in a raw form, then that's totally fine. You're going to have a nice card. You know it's authentic. But be careful there. And I'll show you some 33 Gaudis here shortly in another video that I don't think any of them did as well as they were graded. So anyway, enjoy the vintage. Take care. All right, YouTubers, Bald Rhino, looking at some vintage, baby. Hey, is this pretty or what? I tell you, vintage is amazing just to be a part of it and feel it. I love it. These are cards that, in a rush, I was submitting to PSA to get in under the price increase. And so this is a Chuck Stobbs, Senators, PSA 5. Broken record here, pretty tough grader. Maybe one that kicks the dog, beats his wife, that type of thing. But that's okay, you know, when you got a little vintage, it's beautiful. So a lot of these cards, I mean, I just remember it took almost a little more than a year to come in. But man, I'm excited about this particular card. The prices I paid on some of these, I think most of them are Greg Morris, which is kind of, again, just started what I talked about at the beginning of the video. This is Destruction Crew. Got Dobie and Minoso there, which is great. PSA 5. Just a beauty. This one's kind of a toughie for me, you know. A good friend of mine who ran a local card shop died or closed. Nobody really knows what happened to him. He gave me this card. Just gave it to me one day. So, not going to sell that one. I can tell you that. And a lot of these are commons, but I thought that they would be worthy of grading. I'm sorry about all the glare, but that's how we work with the PSA, baby. Hal Smith. Isn't that wonderful? That is a centered son of a gun right there. And look at that, that's a 6. I mean, yeah. I mean, at the very least, that should be a 7. But, again, guy was a dog kicker. Maybe hadn't had a good meal. I don't know. Gene Stevens, 4. Look at that sucker. Look at the centering on that 4. I mean, that is just hard to understand there. Woo. Then we have a card I would encourage everybody to go pick up. This guy, again, if Baines is in the hall, this guy's bad days should be in the hall. Bob Grich was amazing. Amazing. This was a good grade. I mean, 71 is impossible. But definitely worth it. He should get in the hall at some point. Then, you know, I have a big red machine issue. Everybody on YouTube knows it. So This is 1971. Really happy with this grade. Thought it had a chance at an 8, but upper right-hand corner, not gonna work. So, pretty card though. It's gorgeous. So sad about Tatis. I mean, God, dog it. Baseball needs Tatis, and you know, God, all you have to do is kind of behave yourself and spend $300 and some million. I just, you just scratch your head at the dumb, man, that some of these younger players are capable of. It just shocks me. This is the Minoso. This is a card that was not Greg Morris and did really well. In fact, I think it might be a tad overgraded, in honesty. But love, love, love it. Hall of Famer. All right, I love the 54 Bowman. I wish that I had been more aggressive in submitting every one of them that I have to PSA. Just, you know, errors in judgment, you know, ran out of time or whatever. I just didn't think it would get this bad or change so dramatically in the hobby. But I got a few done. This is the Bobby Shanson at 3. This is a beauty. This is the Clem Labine PSA 6. Look at the colors on that card. I mean, it's just fan-flippin-tastic. I mean, I love that card. Just love it. I mean, it just pops. It's beautiful. This is another one. Look at this, Johnny Buca. It's a great name. He would have to be a catcher. And it's a 4. I think that's a little tough. It's a pretty good card, even on the back. I mean, look at the back there. I'm sorry about all the glare, but, you know, I can't afford a studio right now. Not all of us can, you know, have a motion picture degree. This is Cot Deal. I did this one specifically because I think the name is hilarious. And that's one of the luxuries of being able to grade when things were cheap. You just saw a card you liked or you thought was ridiculous or funny, like the Bruce Jenner card, the Silver Jackify. Just thinking about sending in right now. Yeah, you're not going to really do that anymore, which is just part of the hobby that's disappeared, which is sad. But there's some crazy names. Dick Pole is the funniest one of all time, for sure, in the 70s, mid-70s. This is Steve Ridzik in a 5. And I thought that this was a very generous grade. I don't think the surface is very good, but there you go. This one is actually a good one. This is the Richie Ashburn, and I think that my experience on the 62 tops is that this is as high a grade as they'll give, as a 6. I have a big SGC purchase. I just couldn't believe how cheap they were as in terms of the price. I'll show these again, or I'll show that video later, but I'm not an SGC guy unless it's a PC deal, as everybody knows. But Richie, looking good. This was one night out on a bender. You know, he's dry mouth. He's looking for water. They just snap a picture of him, which is sad. This one is so overgraded. So, you know, it's a reminder that I complain too much. But, man, is it overgraded. It's centered and the picture pops. It's a beauty. It's one of my, it's a sad card, but, you know, it's a great reminder of just incredible player. But it's creased right here. I mean, right across the bottom here. And I bought the card for like $2.30 or something ridiculous, and it gets a 4. And so I think this speaks to the lack of consistency at PSA, and they're just blasting through cards right now. But I'm not going to sell this card. But, I mean, $10 to grade, buy the card for a little under 3. It's a pretty good gig. You can't lose there. This one I knew would be extremely bad, but this is, you know, when you can get a mantle, you should grade it. It actually obviously has the tape here. And if you look at this card, centering and those discolorations apart, or just, it's not a 1 really. I think it looks so much better than that. Here's the back. I mean, look at that. I mean, so be hard on me. I mean, I think that is an amazing card, a 58 Mantle All-Star. I mean, obviously it's a common card too, but pretty sweet, huh? Right next to the beautiful old-timer hat, like that. A couple more here. I know you're probably just loving it so much you got to take a break, but This is the Mini Minoso 61 post serial. Love it because I got a 2. The reason that's significant is most of the time these hand-cut cards come back as authentic. They don't post a grade on them. So it's nice to actually have a real grade on it, for sure. And then lastly, you know, in the old days, if I could just find a vintage card that looked cheap on eBay, I would get it and then try to grade it. So here's an Ernie Banks PSA 6. I think that this is a pretty generous grade. Myself, I'm not going to say I know what I'm doing like Alico, you know, with the list. I don't really grade them beforehand. They're either worthy of grading in my mind or not. And then lastly, this is a Vintage Breaks card. You know, that's the oldest form of gambling. Vintage Breaks has got such a good gig there, you know. When you think about, oh, you know what, I'm going to put $100 on DraftKings, and then you think, well, why don't I just give it to Vintage Breaks? Because I have a better chance of getting something good. And so this is a result of good decisions rather than throwing it away at DraftKings. But I love this card. And you know what? It could have been an 8, but the off-centering there. So Jim Palmer. Well, anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed this incredible PSA reveal. Appreciate all of you, and I hope that you have a good day, safe day. Take care.